The world's most powerful military alliance, NATO, along with the United States, has unveiled a major defense plan aimed at countering China's aggressive expansion in the West Philippine Sea. As tensions escalate, global powers are realigning their strategies to ensure stability in the Indo-Pacific. For years, China has been aggressively asserting its territorial claims in the West Philippine Sea, also known as the South China Sea. The Philippines, backed by international law and a 2016 ruling by The Hague, has consistently challenged Beijing's expansion. However, China's military presence has only grown stronger. The latest incursions by Chinese vessels have alarmed the international community, prompting the US and its NATO allies to step up their engagement in the region. The US has also reaffirmed its commitment to defending Philippine sovereignty under the Mutual Defense Treaty, emphasizing that any attack on Philippine forces would trigger an immediate response. China has condemned the NATO-US defense plan, calling it an act of provocation. Beijing has warned of retaliatory measures, including increased military patrols and economic countermeasures. Meanwhile, the international community remains divided. Some nations support the US-led initiative as a necessary step to uphold international law, while others fear it could further escalate tensions. South China Sea nations have not succumbed to Beijing's increasingly persistent efforts to undermine their lawful maritime territorial claims. Despite the Chinese Communist Party's threats and aggressive moves, fishing, security patrols, and offshore exploration continued in 2024. That's the conclusion of an analysis of global positioning system-based ship tracking information that detects vessel movements globally. The Center for Strategic and International Studies, a United States-based think tank, reviewed automatic identification system data collected at 6 contested South China Sea locations as part of its Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative. China arbitrarily claims most of the sea, disregarding a 2016 international tribunal ruling that invalidated Beijing's sovereignty contention, and despite overlapping claims from Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. Many of the CCP's patrols occur in other nations' exclusive economic zones. The Royal Australian Navy's 6-week engagement in Southeast Asia, including participation in a multilateral exercise, marks the nation's first regional deployment of 2025. The guided missile destroyer HMAS Hobart, with a crew of about 230 and an MH-60R Romeo Seahawk helicopter, departed its home port of Sydney in mid-January. Such deployments demonstrate Australia's ongoing commitment to supporting regional security and stability and promoting a peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific region, Vice ADM. Justin Jones, Chief of Joint Operations, said in a news release. These deployments also provide the opportunity to engage with our partner nations at sea and in the air to enhance interoperability. In late January, the destroyer began a week-long port call at the Indonesian Navy's Bali Naval Base, where it was joined days later by the French Navy frigates FNS Alsace, FNS Forbin, and FNS Provence, according to Indonesian news agency Antara. The visits were an opportunity to solidify military relations among Australia, France, and Indonesia, which could include joint drills, educational exchanges, and defense technology transfers. An Indonesian Navy spokesman said, Indo-Pacific allies and partners are expanding engagements to ensure freedom of navigation and secure critical sea lines of communication in the region as the People's Republic of China's aggressive actions and arbitrary territorial claims spike tensions from the East China and South China Seas to the Taiwan Strait. The study examined the number of days CCP ships patrolled Luconia, Sabina, Scarborough, and Second Thomas Shoals, Thitu Island, and an area south of Vanguard Bank. Patrols increased at 5 of the 6 areas, with 2nd Thomas Shoal the exception. Philippine and Chinese leaders agreed to de-escalate tensions at the shoal in July 2024 after China Coast Guard ships in June intercepted Philippine vessels on a mission to resupply sailors stationed at the shoal, which is in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. China Coast Guard personnel armed with knives and an axe injured Philippine sailors and damaged their inflatable boat. CCP activity subsequently increased at Sabina Shoal, which is also in the Spratly Islands and west of the Philippines' Palawan Island. China Coast Guard ships rammed and fired water cannons at Philippine vessels at the shoal in August 2024. The CCP used its bases on artificial islands and its Coast Guard fleet to stage the South China Sea patrols, which increased in mid-2023 and surged in 2024. The Washington, D.C.-based Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft reported in February 2025. Beijing's incursions and threats continue. A People's Liberation Army helicopter flew within 3 meters of a Philippine Fisheries Bureau plane over Scarborough Shoal in mid-February 2025, prompting the Philippine pilot to warn, "You are flying too close. You are very dangerous," the AP reported. The incident occurred just days after a PLA fighter aircraft shot flares in front of a Royal Australian Air Force plane in international airspace over the South China Sea, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported. Australian defense officials called the incident unsafe and unprofessional and lodged protests with Beijing. China Coast Guard vessels, meanwhile, have maintained a presence within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone since January 2025, the news website philstar.com reported in February. As a frontline state in this geopolitical struggle, the Philippines plays a crucial role. President Philippines has reaffirmed Manila's commitment to diplomatic solutions, but has also welcomed increased military cooperation with NATO and the U.S. The West Philippine Sea remains a critical flashpoint in global geopolitics. As NATO and the U.S. unveil their new defense strategy, the world watches closely. Will this lead to stability or further conflict? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this new defense plan is the right move? If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on global security. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.